Lewicki of channelinginc.com. That is my website down there. If you want to check out more on how to channel, and my slogan is spirituality is meant to be fun. And so, what I do for a living is I teach people how to channel at very high levels, channel properly, authentically, make sure they know who they're channeling, and not just guessing or winging it, which is actually what this topic is about today. Is I am not your guru. And I say this on purpose because last thing I want people to do is like worship me or think I'm some sort of, whatever amazing saint or God or this or that. And I'm not. I'm just a regular dude that has put my time in. I really practice what I teach, what I learn on how to channel. And I don't want people like out there thinking that I'm so great and amazing. And so, you know, there's a whole bunch of religions out there, and I'm not for them or against them, anything like that. Like a lot of religions, they teach a lot of really good topics. And actually, if you delve deeper into their texts, like a lot of the stuff are really good teachings, and it's wonderful and it's great. And, they have all sorts of theories and concepts out there, and they do a lot of good around the world. And what I do transcends. I teach topics that transcend any kind of religion, any kind of race, any kind of culture that exists here on this planet. Because as a soul, what we've done is we've incarnated many times on many parts of the planet. And let's say in a previous lifetime you incarnated on a certain part of the planet, and you were brought up in a certain culture and a certain religion, and then that lifetime you live that religion and you live that culture, and then another lifetime you grew up in another part of the planet, and then you grew up in that culture, grew up in that religion, and you live that culture, live that religion, and on and on and on. And the people that come to my classes and come to my workshops, what they realize is on a soul level that they've done this many times, that on a soul level, that the stuff that I'm teaching them is truth, that when you die and you cross over, you go to the astral realm. And while you're in the astral realm, you spend a certain amount of time there. And then when you when you incarnate, incarnate on a certain part of the planet, and you do amazing things with your life, hopefully, and you do these great things. Well, what you can do though is you can learn how to channel your spirit guides, and then they can help guide you through your lifetime. And then some religions and some biblical texts and other kinds of texts around the world, they say, oh no, don't channel because you're going to open yourself up to things that are not of the light. It's not that they're wrong. It's not like this can happen, and it's happened to me in my early days when I was naive and I just didn't know what I was doing with channeling. And then I started to realize and figure out, oh, maybe some of these things that I'm channeling aren't necessarily of the light and aren't necessarily in my highest and greatest good. So what these certain religions and things like that teach, it's not that they're inaccurate. There can be some truth there. What they do though sometimes is they try to classify like all channeling is bad, all channeling is wrong. However, if you look back at their biblical texts or religious texts, and you actually see who these prophets and seers and people that actually wrote the text, that's what they were doing. That's what they were doing. They were actually channeling this information and writing it down and capturing it on paper or text or whatever. And then that was eventually turned into a religion or whatever. But that's how a lot of these texts were founded, was through these means. And so what I teach my students how to do is how to channel safely, and then make sure that you're doing it of the light. So you're always working in the light, and you're never working with things that are not of the light, because that can happen. But I'll teach you how to make sure that doesn't happen. And then also to check what you're being taught by anyone. And I encourage my students, I am not your guru. Like, all I'm going to do is I'm going to empower you and teach you the skills and the techniques on how to access your spirit guides, how to channel your spirit guides, how to make sure that you're getting it from the answers from them, and you're getting at really advanced levels, how to make sure you're always operating in the light and you're not channeling anything you shouldn't be channeling. And then you can, with these skills and with these fundamental skills to all spirituality, which is channeling, then from there, if you're ever taught anything, like I came through a major awakening in my life where somebody challenged me on a certain topic about, I'm like, no, I know this is right. And they're like, how do you know it's right? Well, I'm like, because this guru taught me this and he must be right. He's been doing it for 30 years. And that person's like, Ken, they're not right. Like, it's not correct. I'm like, yeah, it is. And they're like, how do you know? I'm like, because that's what I was taught by this person. And they must know because they have, a huge following. They're multimillionaires and all this other stuff. And it's like, Ken, it's not correct. I'm like, yeah, it is. And they're like, just check. I'm like, no, I don't need to. Ken, you're a channeler. You have the ability to check this stuff. Just check. So I checked and I'm like, what? That wasn't correct. What I was taught all these years, I thought it was correct. I thought it was accurate. But in a good way, what that did is it forced me to check all the things I'd been taught over the years. And sure enough, a lot of the things that I was taught were not true at all. And some were, but partially true, and maybe not quite as much as I thought. And so I had to really have enough humility to check myself and and challenge myself to see, oh, maybe a lot of this stuff. And sure enough, a lot of the stuff that I was taught over the years wasn't actually accurate at all. I don't know where people got it from. Maybe someone just made it up. Maybe they thought of it themselves. Maybe it was passed down to them through other people. And just like me, naively blinded, like I just followed it because, oh, this person must know what they're talking about, so they must be true. And so what I do now is anything that I'm ever taught, I just take a moment, I check in with my spirit guides to check to see if it's accurate or not. And it might be, it might not be, it might be partially true. And if it is, whether it's a book or an actual live training that I'm taking or an online training or whatever it might be, I just take a moment and check. I just check and verify it to see if it's accurate, if it isn't, if it isn't. And then if it's partially true, a good question to ask is, okay, well, if this is not fully true, then what might be more true? What might be more accurate? Those are really good questions to ask your spirit guides. And then what I don't want people to do is just blindly believe what I teach them. So I tell them this. I'm like, okay, if you have any beliefs that you believe, that's fine. If you want to keep them, that's fine. All I'm going to do is teach you and empower you to channel your spirit guides so that you can check and verify that if your beliefs are true, if they're accurate. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. And if they are, that's fine. If you want to keep them, that's fine. I'm not here to try to convince you otherwise. And what I teach people transcends all religions, transcends all beliefs, all this. Like, because on a soul level, we know what truth is because we've done this many times over and over and over again. And then I actually encourage them. I say, even the stuff that I'm teaching you in these workshops in my classes, I say challenge me on it. Like, check to see if it's true, because it might not be. I might be inaccurate, or I might be missing something, or maybe you're getting something different and I didn't take that into account or learn that, and I can add that to my repertoire. And I never want to get to a point where I think I know it all about channeling. I never want to get to a point where I think I know it all about spirituality. And that's why I'm in this industry, because that's why I love this industry, because there's unlimited amount of stuff, an infinite amount of stuff that I can learn about channeling and about spirituality. And even with, me being in this industry for over 20 years, I'm still learning new stuff all the time. And I love that about this. And so that's good. So what I want them to do is start to challenge what they're being taught with me, with others, and please do. And how do you do this? By learning how to channel at really high advanced levels. And then you can check this stuff for yourself and be your own guru and learn how to be your own psychic and learn how to check these things for yourself so that you're in an empowered position and not just blindly following along like sheep, like, and going along, well, they must say this, so it must be true. Okay, if they said this, it must be true too. And, like, it's, last thing we want is people just blindly believe in this stuff and check it. And now what I do is I teach you how to check this stuff for yourself and be your own guru. And you can find the answers with your soul, your higher self, and your spirit guides. My name is Ken Lewicki. I teach people how to channel full-time for a living. Please check out my website, channelinginc.com. You'll find all my spiritual events, all my channeling certification workshops. My channeling level 1 is the 50-page manual. That's where you'll get the bulk of the training. And that's a certification program where you'll be qualified as a prerequisite for my other levels, channeling levels 2, levels 3, and so on and so on. Have a great day, everyone. And my name is Ken Lewicki. See you soon.